A really great question that often comes up about mezzanine floors is if I install a mezzanine in my warehouse, office or showroom, do I need a building permit? Do I need council permits? What do I need to do? The answer to the first part is absolutely you do need a building permit, and you might need a town planning permit as well. And yes, you will get in trouble. In terms of, when will that happen, what are the implications? First one is quite often now the councils in Victoria, Australia are a lot more proactive now, and they're doing spot inspections, and they're really holding landlords to account in terms of compliance of what they need to do, and therefore the tenants as well. And they're issuing all sorts of infringement notices, and that's not good and expensive to rectify if you haven't answered some of the key things, to make it compliant at the outset. So what's been built is just wrong, and now it has to come out, and there's fines all around this. So the council are doing spot inspections. The second thing I'd say is that there's compliance needs in the mezzanine. So is it structurally sound? Can it do its thing? Photocopy of paper is enormously heavy. So if you're storing archive boxes, there's a lot of weight there, and it just ramps up really quick. So what's the weight per square metre? So we shift from a mezzanine to a floor. The definition is about 200 square metres. When it increases from 200 plus, it's no longer a mezzanine, it's now a floor. And then it has a bunch of different considerations from a compliance point of view. Just for fire service, for example, when it goes from 199 to 200, you need additional fire controls. It most likely includes a fire hose reel. They're only about $450 plus piping, not a big deal, but they look on the length of the pipe run and it's how far it can spray, depending on what the purpose of the mezzanine is, like businesses between racking lengths of run, all that sort of thing. And then there's maximum path of travel between where you are on the floor, or the most disadvantaged part on the floor. So the furthest from the exit, a fire breaks out, can I get to the next fire break zone, smoke sealed area within 22 metres? When you need to nail all this compliance work in terms of structure, so it's strong enough for the purpose, fire escape so you can get out adequately, before you do your town planning set. And mostly in Victoria, Australia, you would need a town planning permit as well. The town planning permit is above the building permit. It happens first, but we suggest you involve the building surveyors and professionals at that stage, so that when the town planning permit is received and the council look at it from that point of view, the planners look at car parking allowances. So every 100 square metres of additional floor space you create with this mezzanine or floor, in terms of storage, requires an extra 1.5 car spaces. If it's going to be used for offices, extra 100 square metres requires 3.5 car spaces. So there's quite a big difference there. Now, what if you don't have any more car spaces? Well, then you have to look at things like having a car parking plan, things to justify the use. For example, we did one, a cleaning company where they had 6 HiAce vans that turned up at 6 a.m. and they loaded up, unloaded, got their new materials for the day, and then they left. And then at the end of the day, about 7 or 8 p.m, they return again. So during the day, there's been no car park demand. So in the light of that, the council were able to look at the type of operation and what it was and grant an exemption. We used a form called a Vic Smart application. It's designed to be a 9-day response time from the council. 9 days is extremely fast in terms of municipal shire councils' response times. If it's a correctly done, informative, detailed town planning application with that building permit, you can sometimes get it 9 days the first time. The benefit of engaging professionals who know how to put all that information together. What's key then is that town planning permit that comes back that's approved is ready for a building permit. So the building surveyor doesn't have to say, no, you must change, which means you then have to go back a step and do the town planning again. So now you've got your town planning permit, your professionals have done that for you, you've hammered out all the key things. Now for the building permit, we need the town planning set, we need a structural engineering set of plans to show the post, the size of the feet, the size of the joists that they're going to take all the purlins for the flooring to go on there, and then and that building permit set will demonstrate the paths of travel, how far it is to fire exits. It'll nominate where the exit lights are, emergency lights, which are the lights that turn on when the power goes out, the stair nosings, the height of the stairs, the maximum rise, the maximum go. It'll nail all that for you. And the clever engineers, as part of the design for mezzanines, use a larger footplate and more posts, which means that it can go on existing concrete slabs. That's really important, because otherwise you're up for really expensive and slow cutting the concrete out. The landlord doesn't want that to happen. Cutting the concrete out, putting footings down into the soil below the slab, repairing the slab, putting it all back together, and then you've got this big headache at the end when you exit the lease that the landlord make good says, fix my concrete slab you've just ruined. So this is why really clever design plays a really big part in how successful you are, and making sure that you keep the landlord happy and you're free from compliance. One of the big threats with not complying, and maybe I should have said this at the start, is there's a thing called wrongful death. So if you build this mezzanine without a permit and all the distances to travel aren't sorted, or even if they are and there was no permit, should one of your staff or a member of the public die due to a fall, heaven forbid a collapse, or a fire where they weren't able to escape, the insurance companies will come looking for you, and the wrongful death, criminal action followed by civil action from any of the descendants or relatives of the person who's deceased is a frightening consideration. So always use professionals. They make it easy. They'll show you the clear path, and you can get your beautiful mezzanine to improve productivity, allow your team to do their best work, and most importantly, get your return on investment that you need for your floor space. It's got to come down to numbers to make you successful in your business so you can thrive and grow.